My name is John Ryan Salvador, and I will be discussing on how to disassemble and assemble a system unit. Now, magsimula po tayo sa labas po muna. Pag nasa labas po tayo ng workplace, tingnan po natin yung attire natin. Kung proper working attire po ba, kung suot po natin yung non-conductive rubber shoes, may mga jewelry ba tayo, i-check po natin yon, mga accessories kung meron. Kung wala naman, then that's fine. And then, look at your person. Do you have the proper equipment? Do you have it with you? Do you have the proper screwdrivers, the hand tools, the diagnostic tools, and the cleaning tools, and the ESD or electrostatic discharge tools that will help you or that will prevent static discharges or accidents from happening. Now that you have seen your person, you've seen that you're well prepared to go in the workplace, in the work area. First, proper OHS policy. Look at your surroundings. Are there any people? Are there any fire exits? Or any possible hazardous accidents that may happen or that may occur when you are working in your working area or workplace rather. Let's say there is water or there is people nearby. You need to let them know that you are working and there may be possible accidents or anything like that. You have to have the responsibility to clear the fire exit or clean the area where you can safely exit the room if there are any accidents. Now let's say there has been an accident that is happening or has happened to someone. You need the accidental report form so you can report someone's name, their case of accident, the date and time, the safety precautions that you have settled to or done to prevent these kinds of accidents, and the treatment that you have given to the one that has had an accident. Now that you have remembered the OHS policy, now that you have all the things that you need to start, now let's go to the working area, the workplace. Now, OHS policy again, safety is number one priority. Some say that you can never be too safe, right? So first, look at your person again. Let's say you have jewelry or accessory, you must remove them and keep them away from the workplace. So when you are working with the computers or the system unit, you won't accidentally hit this and electrify yourself. And then look at your workplace. There are water nearby, food, or there anything like that. Take it away far from the workplace. And then look at the system unit. Did someone drop it? Or is there dents, cracks on the system unit, the CPU cabinet, or the cables are loose or broken, or are there smoking, or do you smell a bad odor or smoke? Maybe you hear like dirt or the fan, masamang tunog yung fan, yung parang may stuck. Now, yung mga ganong problem, yung mga sabihin natin mahirap alisin or mahirap ayusin, yung hindi mo kayang ayusin, i-report mo yun, no? I-report mo yun. You need to report that to your supervisors or your managers, or let's say if you're a student, you need to report it to your teachers, principal, or anyone that is supervised or responsible to oversee you or overlook what you're doing. And now, you are ready. You have the equipment, you need to prepare it. Prepare your equipment, put it by your side, your toolkit, prepare it where you can see it clearly and easy to access at all times. And then your cleaning tools by your side, easy to access too, organized well. And then your anti-static wrist strap, use it. And then the anti-static mat. To use the anti-static wrist strap, you may use it with your hand or with your ankle. Some people use it with their ankles. And then the cable, you need to clip it to the skeleton part or the metallic part of your system unit or your CPU cabinet. And then the mat, you can do it the same way. You can clip the end of the cable to a metallic part or even a grounded area, so you can use it to put your components, your CPU components, to a safe place and organized place. Now, you prepared your stuff, you've practiced OHS policy, and you have organized and properly prepared your safety precautions and your safety exits, and you have alerted people of what you are doing and what may occur or what may happen if an accident would occur. Now, let's start by looking at the CPU cabinet and putting it by a flat area and a clear area where you can see it and anyone can see it. Now, first you need to use the proper tool to open the case, the CPU cabinet case, and carefully turn it because you might strip some screws or something like that. So properly turn it carefully. Don't rush your work because you can limit the accidents from happening, or mababawasan mo yung likelihood ng mga accidents pag hindi mo binilisan yung work mo. Careful ka lang, no? Nire-respeto mo yung trabaho mo. So, sunod doon, pag natanggal mo na yung case, you may put it in a safe area where it is flat and it is easy to access again. Now, next, you need to see the wires carefully and examine the wires. Are there any cut wires or loosened wires? You need to always think about the OHS policy and how to practice them always. Now, when you already scan the wires, there are no dents, cracks, loosened plugs, wires, or anything that is hazardous to your equipment or your tools and your system unit. You can now start to unplug the wires one by one. Let's say the motherboard from the hard disks, the motherboard from the power supply from the hard disks, the power supply from the CPU fans or the CPU processor fans. You have to remove all of those. Now, when you properly remove all of those wires or cables, you can now, pwede mo na siyang itabi. No? Tabi mo lang siya doon sa tabi ng cabinet. Kasi yung PSU or yung power supply unit, mamaya mo na siya tatanggalin. Now, natanggal mo na siya lahat, no? Yung mga wires na lagay mo na sa proper place, organize mo na yung mga screws, yung cover, ayos mo na. Then, sunod, tanggalin mo na yung circuit boards, no? Yung printed circuit boards ng motherboard, no? Yung components muna nun, hindi mo na yung motherboard. So, tatanggalin mo yung RAM, yung video cards, yung graphics cards, yung mga kahit anong nakalagay sa PSIe na slot, tatanggalin mo lahat yon. So, firstly, bago mo tanggalin yun, practice basic OHS policy. Always hold it by the sides. Don't force it. Don't use extra force to push it or pull the component. Okay? And when you're done, set it aside to a secure place. It is safe, it is organized, easy to access, and nothing can harm it. Next, you may start removing the CPU fan or the processor fan. Depending on the brand, it may come with a latch, or pwede mo siyang buksan ng simple lang, or gagamit ka ng screwdriver or anything na makaka properly di-attach ng CPU fan mo or processor fan mo para safely at organizingly matanggal mo sila ng maayos. Now, carefully put it sa sabihin nating anti-static mat. Kung meron ka nga talaga, lagay mo doon. Kung wala naman, foil, it's fine. Para lang matanggal yung stat nun kung meron man, para safe at hindi madamage yung equipment. Now, natanggal mo na sila. Next naman yung processor. Now, lahat ng motherboards may mga cover para sa processor. Now, nakadepende sa motherboard mo kung ano yung safety or locks nila. You may open it with the latch again or screws. Use the proper tool. Don't over tighten and don't over loosen. Okay? You've removed the latch. Take it by the edges. Don't rush your work. And then put it at the anti-static mat or foil, so it will be safe, organized, and easy to access. Okay? And then you removed it all, you organized it once again. Now next up is the screws of your motherboard. Okay? You will unscrew the motherboard from the front and the back if there are any, and then you will organize the screws. Okay? Organize the screws in the particular order that you have unscrewed them. Okay? The particular order. Okay? Now, take the motherboard out, put it on your anti-static mat or tinfoil or anything that can safely or organizingly keep it there and to avoid any harm. So now you've removed your motherboard. Next up is you will remove the hard disks or hard disk drives and DVD drives or CD drives. Okay. Now there are different screws and different screwdrivers that you have on your person, so use them wisely. If your hard disks or hard drives have different screws than your motherboard or a PSU, then use them and use them carefully. Don't over loosen, over tighten again. OHS policy, very important. Now you've loosened the screws. You need to again organize them in the particular order that you have unscrewed them. Okay, and then take out the hard disk drives, take out the DVD drives, CD drives, and organize them where you can see them and where you can safely access them. Next, the PSU. Now, it is the only one that is left there, the PSU. Now, you need to use the proper tool again to unscrew them all. Okay, unscrew them and then organize them where you can safely place them and organize the screws so you can use them again in an organized fashion, let's say. Now take the PSU and set it aside in an organized manner. Now you've taken out all the necessary components. Now natanggal mo na yung yung lahat ng gamit ng components sa CPU. Pwede mo na siya isang linisin, no? Gamit yung lint-free cloth or compressed air. Para gamitin yun, you will need OHS policy again. Use it carefully and use it organizingly. Use the cloth, lint-free cloth, to clean the contacts of your, and then use the compressed air to blow out any dirt from your components, like let's say the fan. If you're blowing out dirt from your fans, always hold the fan from its wings. Hold it and then carefully gamitin mo yung compressed air para ma-blow yung mga dirt and things like that, because pag hindi mo hinawakan, maaaring ma-damage yung fan kung hindi bukas yung motor niya. So always hold it, be organized, don't rush, and then sunod ka na sa assembling, mag-assemble ka na, dapat oyos na yung lugar mo. Now, time for the assembling. Again, OHS policies and procedures for safety reasons, okay? That is your job. Now, next, look at are they organized? The components organized for assembling again. Now, you will assemble it the other way around. Like when you did the disassembling, ayusin mo naman sila ng pabaliktad. Unahin mo naman yung PSU, i-screw mo yung PSU, and then pataas pa balik. Now, use the PSU, screw it. Don't over tighten because you might strip the threads of the screws or the bolts or any part of your computer. You might damage your computer, so don't rush. Safely screw them and don't over tighten or over loosen. Now you've screwed the PSU. Now hard disk drives, DVD drives, CD drives, and put them all in your computer organizingly and in a particular manner that you did last disassembling it. So put your CD drives, DVD drives, hard disk drives, screw them again organizingly and slowly, carefully, and then get your motherboard and then put it in your CPU cabinet, and then get your screws, your organized screws, and then screw them tight, but not too tight because you might strip a thread or something. Now, when you safely screwed them all, the PSU, the motherboard, the DVD drives, CD drives, hard disk drives, your storage devices. Now, you can now put all your things there. Firstly, the processor, hold it by the edges, practice OHS policy, hold it by the edges, and when you put it there, carefully close the lock or the latch, and then lock it there or screw it if you have that kind of motherboard. Screw in the fans, the CPU fan, the processor fan, and then screw them tightly or latch them in a safe and organized manner. And then next up is the circuit boards, the RAM, the video graphics card, the video card, and graphics card circuit boards. Attach them wisely, organizingly, and carefully. Remember, always practice OHS policy. It's very important for your safety. Now, when you've attached all of the circuit boards from your motherboard, you can now plug the wires, the necessary wires, hard disk to motherboard, DVD drives to motherboard, PSU to motherboard, CPU fan to motherboard, CPU fan to PSU, and anything like that. And then when you're done with that, you've attached all the wires, or all the components, the hard drives, the CPUs, the processors, the CPU fans, the PSU. When you've done all that, you can now get the cover, the CPU cabinet cover, and then cover it safely and carefully. Now, get the screws that you have organized early on, and then screw it carefully using the correct screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, anything. Use it carefully and organizingly. Now you've done it all, double check your surroundings. Are there any components left? Did I miss anything? Did I miss parts? Did I mistakenly put something there that is not supposed to be there? Is my equipment in good shape? Is my equipment organized? And when you've double checked all your surroundings, you can now start your computer, plug in the PSU plug, open your computer, and then check your computer. Are there any components left? And practice OHS policy. And when you've done that, now you are done. You've done the disassembling and assembling. Okay? Thank you for watching, ma'am. Goodbye.